On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I'm certainly feeling better today. Thank you. There's a bunch of you guys that reached out and actually said some fun things, and we are going to start with an appropriate comment nonetheless. This whole fiasco last night, I didn't watch it. I've seen a little of it, the answers. We've got some information about how it played out. This whole thing was just a total cluster F. Badly. Kamala Harris is failing so miserably. She's definitely going to get this smattering of votes of people that, one, maybe have already voted, but it's not all over the place totally just yet. And two, she's obviously going to get a lot of people that vote for her strictly because she's a checkbox of some kind, right? Woman, color, blah, 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 whatever. Whatever the case is, it's just not going well for her in any way, shape, or form. Also, want to remind you guys, for the show tomorrow, Friday's music show, I'm doing the group Boston. A lot of fun, actually. You guys probably for sure know, for any of you guys, you probably know a good solid 4 to 6 songs of Boston. You'd be like, oh yeah, totally, good song. And then, needed to fill an hour. There's some really good songs of theirs that I actually pulled together. So for those of you that don't really know Boston that well, I bet you'll kind of enjoy it. So at least check it out, even after the effect. If you can't be there at 3 p.m. Pacific time Friday, or 6 Eastern, that would be when it's live. It's about an hour, pretty solid, a little over an hour tomorrow. So it should be a lot of fun. If you want to join us, please do so. All that said, also Saturday, we've got the $5 meeting for those of you guys that are interested in that. That is on thefringe.locals.com. And you just go to this become a member, and it's like a $5 donation. If you do a $5 monthly active donation, and you can cancel anytime you want, but that's how I pulled the report. And if you can be around 1 p.m. on Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern, then you can, it might behoove you to do a $5 donation and join us. It's a lot of fun. We just hang out and talk. This one, unfortunately, because of what's going on the big picture, I will start it about half hour early, but it's probably not going to run as long as they typically do in the past. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of stuff on my plate that I've got to take care of. So that said, we will spend way over an hour together, but it's always a lot of fun, just shooting the shoot and just people asking questions and bringing stuff up, and it's a fun little community. So if you want to be a part of it, please do. All said, let's get into the nitty-gritty, baby. So here was the person that made a comment I thought that was pretty beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's not the way I wanted to do this. I guess we'll just read it this way. This guy, who is this? Let's give him credit because it's pretty cool. Paul Floret said this, Absolute 1776, I guess he's also known as. But he says, a shout out to those that never stopped. When the time comes, don't forget those who never stepped away from this war. From big accounts to small, there are thousands of patriots who, no matter what, never stepped away, and they kept grinding. I'm not talking about taking a couple days off to recharge either. I encourage that. Quite often, those folks that kept their foot on the gas through all of this whilst never taking an extended time away, no matter what was happening in their lives, gets shuffled aside in favor of those who only took part in this war at their convenience. Well, this is me taking the time out to acknowledge those accounts and show appreciation. If you've never stopped driving forward, never stopped grinding, never stopped contributing to this war, especially when life was smacking you around, I see you, and my hat is off to you. Thank you, warriors. Thank you for never putting yourself over your country in your country's most dire time of need. Keep fighting, keep moving forward, never give up, never back down. So thank you, hold the line, perfect thing to say. And also to everyone out there that's been doing the same and feel, like they've been grind down a little bit. And I think there was a lot of people that were kind of feeling similar to me. So who knows what crazy stuff's going on vibe-wise on the planet. But I think we were picking up on something. So thank you to everybody. All right, so this is just a reminder. This is Parody. This is, in fact, Parody. This is going to be Parody. I will be playing a thing that's not real. AI generated this. It's funny as hell, though. I'm gonna play it. This is parody. This is fake. Do not believe that this is real, what I'm about to play. I hope I've said it enough, because there's still going to be people that are like, damn, that was really cool. It's funny as hell, though. So please check it out. Again, this is parody. This is fake, but this is funny.
So is Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded, and now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls, so yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, Let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe,
on, man.
you're not
Just
going
give it
back
another
yet.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
I like the little Bill Clinton comment at the end. That was pretty dang funny. Anywho, that was parody. That was fake. Do not believe that. What I just played was an AI thing or something. It was meant to be parody, meant to be funny. Ha 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 ha. All right, all said. There you go. OMG has put out some very breaking stuff. We're gonna watch about 2 minutes of this, but it's probably gonna piss you off a little bit.
Say your uncle in like Ohio said something about like Kamala Harris isn't unfit to be a president because he doesn't have a child.
Okay.
That kind of shit is automatically demoted.
Meet Jeevan Gawali, a senior software engineer at Meta.
Are they doing a good job protecting our democracy? Because I can see these like right-wing groups like setting up Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts for that matter, right? And just start posting disinformation, be like, Harris is like blah, blah, blah.
That's all going to be demoted 100%. The civic classifier is strong.
The senior software engineer also goes on to say that, quote, the person would not be notified, unquote, if they were demoted because of their anti-Kamala Harris post on Meta, and red-listed, that's a new term we just learned, red-listed, meaning, according to Collins Dictionary, things that are not permitted.
Would the person who posted that would he be notified that?
The person would not be notified, but there's these things that what you collect is like, if a bunch of items that, like if at least a couple of items that a person has created has violated civic classifier, then they're also red listed.
Our OMG American Swiper asked Jeevan if Meta was shadow banning users for their anti-Kamala Harris posts. Take a look at what he says.
So is that called shadow banning?
Shadow banning,
Okay,
yeah.
so they will be shadow banned.
Correct.
They will never be shown. But so they will see a dip in like impressions and engagement,
Yeah.
but they would not be like officially warned of the reason why.
Correct.
We asked Gawali if Meta has the ability to affect the upcoming 2024 election, to which he responded, yes, Meta does. Jeevan also confirmed that Mark Zuckerberg intends to help the Democrats in this election cycle.
You guys have the ability to influence the outcome of the election.
Yes.
Do you think Zuckerberg agrees? Good. Is he going to help the Democrats?
Yeah.
We'll see, of course. But yeah, craziness, right? So here's James O'Keefe. He contacted that individual. You know how he likes to do that. It usually comes into their face and like has the video of them talking. Well, he did his standard approach. It didn't go well, apparently. Check it out.
My name is James O'Keefe, and the girl works for me. And she recorded you. You're at Meta, and you're talking about... He said, and then he hung up the phone. So I guess the comment is,
That sounds like an official comment, too. So officially, he said, fuck. Yeah, they beeped it. I don't. Prosecutors seek to limit access to evidence in Trump's assassination attempt case. They want to make it so Ryan Ruth can't share information with the media or anything. I don't know. To me, whenever they try to hide information that the public kind of wants to know, granted, it would affect being able to get a good jury, maybe. I don't know. But I always find it interesting when they try to hide information. Like, that's a real typical deep state kind of thing, right? Like, we don't want people to know this information because it might not be good to know or something. So it is weird. Again, do we want this guy talking just willy-nilly? Probably not either, right? I don't know. So it's kind of a fun little thing to think about. But yeah, whatever. Ryan Ruth is supposedly, they're being asked to see if that he's not being able to share stuff. Well, see how that plays out, if it ever does play out, for that matter. Florida stuff we got first. There's an activist group abandons its lawsuit against Florida's anti-rioting law after some court ruling. That's kind of strange. They abandoned this law. The activist group, which organized racial justice protests, they filed a complaint against Florida to challenge the constitutionality of the state's amended criminal riot statute on the First Amendment grounds. The anti-rioting legislation, HB 1, was amended in 2021 to include, quote, new criminal offenses and, quote, increased penalties for individuals who are participants in violent or disorderly assemblies. That's what they added to it. They were trying to fight that constitutionality on a First Amendment basis, but First Amendment doesn't allow you to damage things. So would be a moot point anyways, probably. Nonetheless, they seem to have backed away from this stance, most likely because they had no chance in hell. Whatever, it's more of that lawfare type stuff, though, happening. Here is the sheriff of Polk County, Florida, I believe. All looters, F around and find out. He's got a nice little sign, just saying. I hope that's actually him holding that up, but I don't know. Maybe someone just memed that in. I don't know if that's real or not. I would assume, right? F around and find out. It's pretty cool. Fafo. Fun times. Here is, oh, this is beautiful. Dude, DeSantis, you bugged me so much with the lifts and when you were running against Trump, but I think you made it. And I think I even said it during. I'm like, I hope, we'll see. You might be able to pull this off, but wow. Wow, it was close. It was close. I almost hated you. But, yeah, he's brilliant when it comes to knowing the way the game is played, and he has a press person try to put him into this weird little hole, right? Little pigeonhole, and he's like, no, I'm not playing your stupid game. DeSantis is rock star. Check it out.
We're covered by flood insurance.
The chance of me virtue signaling for people in the media is zero. So do not count on that. I don't subscribe to your religion. And it's just a tired refrain and song and dance. I get you have an agenda. I understand that. I think you should be more honest about what that would mean for people. Taxing them to smithereens, stopping oil and gas, making people pay dramatically more for energy. We would collapse as a country. So this whole idea of climate ideology driving policy, it just factually can't work. And so in Florida, our energy is going to be affordable and reliable. That's what you're going to do. That's the only way you can adequately respond to things like we just saw with the storms to get people hooked back up. In terms of the federal flood insurance, we have so there's two things. One, at a disaster recovery center, you can do flood claims at the federal DRC. Now, it's not run by the state. This is obviously a federal program. You can do that. You can also pursue federal flood claims at the insurance villages that are being run by the state CFO, Jimmy Patronis. So that will also have private wind carriers as well. And there was some wind damage from Milton. I would say in this area, Helene up the Tampa Bay was almost entirely from the surge, which can also be normal homeowners. But a lot of flooding inland with Milton. So if you go to either those federal flood insurance disaster recovery center, or you can go to the insurance villages, they can work through that.
Probably should have cut some of that, but I don't know. The answer seemed like it was also kind of good info for people that are down there dealing with all this crud. So something to keep in mind. By the way, I've got, it's normally I do my DRS gold.com, and I will be doing that. Don't get me wrong. I just actually found out about a new little thing they're offering up for you guys. It's just something fun for you guys to click. So that actually might be a reason to look forward to that DRSLexGold.com. Even if you've already done it, this might be something to still look into. And for those of you that haven't done it, you're probably going to want to check this out. At least see what they say, because I am not even familiar with it yet. I'm kind of excited. I literally just saw the email. Very cool stuff. All said, I'm doing My Pillow right now. And My Pillow is pretty awesome. It's actually a coupon code that you guys earned. Now, I think a lot of them are similar. I'm not going to make it sound like we've got something that's ridiculously unique, but I actually think we have some very cool stuff that they offer up to us, and that's because of you guys. So again, the coupon code's OTF, definitely. But you want to do mypillow.com/OTF. Again, they're still trying to get rid of those classic MyPillow. I think it's amazing. It's your chance to really get those because the 2.0, it's just different. If you're someone that's got special needs with your pillow, like once you find like the perfect pillow, it's really hard to get away. And you like a thinner pillow especially. I honestly just think the original collection, something about it. It's just the way it is, the way it's easy to refluff. It's you put your head in it. It holds your head beautifully. The classic My Pillow is an amazing pillow. It's what caused me to fall in love with this company, literally. And then I've tried a whole bunch of other stuff. Their bed sheets are amazing, super deep pockets, beautiful colors, great high thread counts. I mean, they're just really nice sheets, and they're not expensive. Beautiful thing. They've been on sale so much lately. It's kind of a bummer to see the prices where they are, but it is what it is, right? The sheets are awesome. They've got this topper that they're still trying to get rid of. I think it looks like it's a good couple inches. And this, again, a way to add some life to a mattress, and just $99.99. This thing's coming to you, and you're going to love it. They're also trying to get rid of these old school slippers. Once they're gone, they're gone. I don't know if we've got a new version. Oh, there's the new version. There's the new version. Look at that. So the old version's going, the new version's in. I don't know what's different about them. I'm going to have to buy a new pair. Dadgummit. Look at that. We got both. You have options. If they're out of your size, well, you might have to look the other way. And try to see if you can get some of those socks. We've got actually a mattress in a box. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, they've still got free shipping over $75. They told me that was going away. Apparently not. So we've got some really, really good deals. A lot of these things are going to be free shipping. That saves you a ton of money right there. So again, $25 dishes, towels, blankets. They've got a lot of great stuff. The pet blankets are back up. The dog beds are back up. Man, you guys, I hope you took advantage of those great sales they had. These kitchen towels are incredible too. MyPillow knows how to make towels. Their towels are bar none the best towels I've ever used. And then the premium's even nicer, believe it or not. But the regular's perfect. Perfect. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. We got a whole bunch of Kamala stuff. This should be a blast. CBS News is now accused of news distortion in an FCC complaint. A 501c3 Center for Americans' Rights seeks complete transcript of Kamala Harris' 60-minute interview. The need for the commission's action is strengthened by CBS's refusal thus far to release the transcript, which it has done in similar interviews in the past. And again, Catherine Herridge is who's sharing this, and she was one of the people that had to share one of these interview transcripts. So, yeah, it's totally happened. The FCC has had a policy against news distortion in over-the-air broadcasts. CBS engaged in news distortion by editing its news program to such a great extent that the general public cannot know what answer the vice president actually gave to a question of great importance on a matter of national security policy. They reached out to CBS News spokesperson for comment and, of course, did not get one. So this is the whole thing. It's like 8 pages, yada, yada, yada. We don't need to read all that. But it is, it's pretty legit. It's pretty cool. Now, I got a couple snippets of Brett Burr talking to her. Everybody's given Brett a lot of points. Again, and I guess I'm begrudgingly say he did I think a fair interview. I don't know, we're speculating that she probably didn't get the questions in advance. She intentionally showed up late. We'll get there. And so the interview, she probably tried to do some shenanigans to see if she could minimize the damage. In the very short period of time she spent with Brett Burr, she managed to do some extraordinary damage. So what are you going to do? Here's some of that damage. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. He introduced her as, on now, the next president of the United States. I don't know I hope that was edited funny or something, but whatever. Here's actually some interview. Check this out.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you,
now,
just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get you the question. I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came.
Yeah, I don't think she was answering anything, in fact. Do you? Didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like it at all. No, in fact. Here's more of some of this crazy, crazy stuff.
Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
That's not who he's talking about, Kamala. And again, here's you lying. He's been very specific about who he considers the enemy within the lines, and that's the deep state people, the establishment that continues to fleece this country, that doesn't actually care about us, that's trying to take away our free speech, trying to take away our Constitution, trying to raise our taxes even further, trying to literally destitute this country. That's what he's talking about. And Kamala, to be a little more specific, in your case, he's talking about you, not the American people. We don't have a problem with Democrats in general. We have a problem with you, Kamala, and Joe, and how you covered for his mental problems, because you work for the same establishment. So yes, we are going to remove all of the swamp creatures. It will no longer be a swamp. It will be a beautiful lagoon very soon. Oh, that rhymed, and I didn't even mean for it to. Look at that. Look at that, Kamala. You made me a rhymer. That's almost like I'm a rapper. Not even close, but still. Bear, you said Iran was the biggest threat to America. There's some more of her stupidity.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the number one threat?
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion, that Iran posed a threat to Israel. I was there, most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself, and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
but those
is,
proxies
and,
were getting
and
funded
my
by
commitment
Iran.
to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald
profits.
Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates
and then
in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's
that
administration
go towards
that
the Iran regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers,
Hamas,
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
Well, I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision.
Yeah, Trump had no wars at all during his 4 years, and you guys have had a bunch, major problems. So, yeah, go ahead. You talk about your contrast. I mean, I guess you're continuing because you agree with everything Biden said. So, yeah, again, fantastic. I know they try to spin this as like, oh, Fox wasn't fair. Brett was very fair. He was trying to ask questions that voters, even Democrat voters, want to know answers to. This was the first interview she's had that hasn't been fully scripted and just basically a campaign op. This was an actual sort of soft interview. Brett wasn't going out of his way to be like really tough, but he was asking some legit questions. Well, here's Brett Burr talking about some of the shenanigans that actually happened from Kamala before and during and after.
You've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
Yeah, Brett's, I don't know. I will be honest. It brought my dislike of Brett up a notch. I heard it click once. I was like, I still don't like you. Brett Burr. And I especially do not like your little buddy over here. Daisy face. No, Brett Burr. But, you got to click. You got to click up. I don't know how you guys feel. Hopefully you sort of maybe feel the same way. Brett Burr just said Kamala showed up at 5:17 p.m. despite a promise the interview would start at 5 p.m. and last for 30 minutes to give Fox enough time to turn around the taped interview for his 6 p.m. show. Kamala didn't want a live interview, then started the taped interview almost 20 minutes late before her aides cut it short. And despite the game playing and the pressure on Bear, Kamala still imploded, which is very true, right? Of course, all the headline rags, right? Harris did with Fox News what Trump can't do anywhere, handle tough questions. Really? I'm seriously curious if people on their side of the fence feel that way, if they actually watched it. ABC, another liar. Harris paints Trump as threat, draws contrast with Biden and combative Fox interview. Ooh, yeah, they're all talking about the combative with the next slide you'll love. MSNBC and CBS both saying stupid stuff. Harris catches Fox News edit of Trump's enemies from within threat. Harris says in Fox interview her presidency will not be a continuation of Biden's presidency. You've already said you agreed with everything he said. Like, you guys just making shit up. That's all you're doing. It's beautiful. Beautiful. It's well done. Well done indeed. And then they started going into this whole other new thing that Fox got testy. So NPR, CNN, AP, The Hollywood Reporter, CNN. So that became the 4 a.m. talking point. It's testy. Testy or tasty? Testy. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Like testicles? Like it's oh, no, with a Y. Oh, like they're testing. Oh, gotcha. I wasn't sure which words you were going with there for a second. Testy. Rhymes with zesty. Isn't that just interesting? Not really, but kinda. So, yeah, Jesse and Mr. Trump here, Don Jr., talk about the disastrous debate or interview, that just happened. Thought that was pretty cool. Check it out.
If I'm upset when I go to McDonald's or the grocery store, what's a hardworking, blue-collar American family making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year? How do they feel? They're getting crushed, and Kamala Harris is incompetent. You saw the answers. If she can't do 20 minutes of a fair interview, someone finally asked her a couple, at least real questions for a change, the hiding her in the basement strategy was the right way to go. But that too was failing because she agreed with all of the policies that got us to this disastrous place. So they had to put her out there, and it's not working. If she can't do 20 minutes with Brett Baer, how's she going to do against Vladimir Putin? How's she going to do against the mullahs in Iran? How's she going to do against Xi or North Korea or any of the other enemies of America? Any of the other enemies of freedom around the world? She's going to get steamrolled. This is not a competent person that can handle this. She got unhinged in a very basic interview. Our enemies would love a Kamala Harris presidency. They are rooting for it like you've never seen. There's a reason Iran is trying to kill my father. And it's not because they want him to be president. It's because they understand that Kamala Harris's weakness is a huge benefit to all of our adversaries all over the world. And they would love to have 4 more years of this unmitigated disaster.
Yeah. It's... Folks, there's the deep state. That's who we're at war with. This is not going to be another 4-year term. This is one of those things where once we actually finally once we finally consciously become aware of the deep state and then desperately just start to try to snuff them out everywhere we can find them. And I don't mean that in any sort of deadly way. No, legally, the proper way for people that were treasonous. So I'm sure that'll get handled how it gets handled. But no, I'm not ever, peacefully is always my hope. Always. It should always be, unless I'm defending my life. There's no reason, right? Jesus even told us to turn the other cheek. The man, tries to steal your shirt, give him your pants too, or I don't know, I forget some of the cool phrases he used to say. There's some grooviness in there. So yeah, Don Jr. torched the hell. We've got some more here. Here is CNN. Oh yeah, this is just kind of a, not necessarily tied into Kamala, but just sort of a funny thing. CNN, Jake Tapper, woke blitzer. They've reportedly denied raises while Chris Wallace asked to take a pay cut. These guys are so desperate to keep their job because of the thinning of what's happening at CNN because of the failure, which explains to me why CNN, I've been like wondering, I'm like, why is it like, I put like that stupid poll I did. It's not stupid, but it was cool. I'm glad a lot of people did it. That most people are into the alternative media, hands down. But I only had like, I don't know, 60 people or whatever. I haven't actually even looked at the final results, but it wasn't that many. But all said, those of you that participated, thank you. I'm not trying to diminish it by any means. It was kind of actually interesting. I was figuring from my audience, that was kind of what I expected, but it was very good. CNN, though, I put them in their own category because they're kind of like, I feel like they might make it. Like Fox, well, no, sorry, I put them with MSNBC, which, kind of the same. And then ABC, CBS, whatever. CNN is an interesting network. I feel like they keep trying to fake it. And I don't know. Every once in a while they do a good story. Like I share it all the time. I'm always shocked when it happens. I don't know. We'll see. I'm spending way too much time on that. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene put this out. Hello at UK Labour, spelled with the O-U-R, because of course they had extra letters in friggin' England. They invented the U and the GH, I guess. The O-U-G-H is owned by the British. It's the private owners of the O sound. Foreign nationals are not allowed to be involved in any way in the U.S. elections. Odd way you wrote that, but I tried to help. Please go back to the UK and fix your own mass immigration problems that are ruining your country. And this is regarding Sophia Patel's post, head of operations at the Labour Party. I have nearly 100 Labour Party staff, current and former, going to the U.S. in the next few days or few weeks, heading to North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. I have 10 spots available for anyone to head to the battleground states of North Carolina. We will sort your housing. Email me at laborforkamala@gmail.com if you're interested. Thanks. Well, this is probably illegal, is what she's saying. You are literally breaking FEC laws. Thanks, England. So now we've got England interfering in our elections with their extra O-U-G-H. How dare you? O-U-G-H-U. Why O-U-G-H? Yeah, try that U on for size. It hurts, don't it? Georgia judge strikes down 7 new election rules as unconstitutional. I gotta say, at first I was like, bastard. And then I read a part of this and I'm like, well, if that's actually true, shit, it's probably kind of, I don't know. Anyway, let's see what you guys think. Georgia judge struck down several newly enacted election rules. Rules, not laws. Rules. Including requirements for a reasonable inquiry before certifying elections, hand counting of ballots on election night, and increased access for partisan poll watchers. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Thomas Cox Jr. ruled on Wednesday that these rules, passed by the state election board's Republican majority, are illegal, unconstitutional, and void. He determined that the board overstepped its authority by implementing election procedures that should be determined by elected representatives. The Georgia Constitution provides that only the General Assembly may provide for a law for a procedure whereby returns of all elections by the people are made to the Secretary of State. So, long story short, they're not allowed to do that. Constitution states who's allowed. It's got to be an elected official. Those are the people that actually can affect elections. Now, again, we like this rule because it's on our side of the fence, but the reality is when the Democrats do rules like EPA too, I mean, this is a thing that's in the Supreme Court, we don't like it, right? So I don't think rules are the way to go. So I want to see our elections fixed, don't get me wrong, but I also want to do it legally. I don't want to do it in a way that's doing the same thing the deep state's been doing, right? I don't know. Again, you guys, you get mad at me. I'm just curious what you think. I'm trying to put it out there best I can. Biden glares at Nancy Pelosi at the Ethel Kennedy's funeral after she stabbed him in the back. Apparently she was up there talking, and he was kind of just like, yeah, whatever, just zoning, kind of not staring at her, not looking at her. Bill Clinton looks like he's falling asleep. Doesn't he look horrible? Like, he's older than Biden, huh? This dude, he's like Jimmy Carter bound. It's amazing these guys are still alive, too, for that matter. He still looks surprisingly good, considering he's pretty old, right? Is he even 70 yet? I don't even know how old that bastard is, but whatever the hell. And maybe not truly a bastard, but yeah. So there's still a lot of hatred going on between Pelosi and Biden. And I still wonder if Biden's going to do something weird because he's so mad at him. I think that's kind of why Trump keeps nudging that, like poking that button, because he does. There's a lot of truths where he keeps bringing up how Biden should be the one that's there, how he was unfairly pushed out. Now, again, it made it very difficult for Trump to have to shift gears. Like he had all sorts of money spent with research and stuff and the timings of when they were going to push stuff out. And then they kind of had to switch that around quickly and kind of build a whole other thing. Because you do different stuff the last week leading up to the election than you do a month before. Because, again, people's attention spans are about 4 seconds long. That last little bit of time, you guys feel overwhelmed now. It's going to be insane the last week before the election. We're going to get bombarded everywhere. It's going to be weird. Biden admin cancels another $4.5 billion in student loan debt. I know the most recent one he did is still tied up in courts right now, and here he is firing off another one. I believe the other two prior had been stopped or stopped by the courts. So it's weird that this article that Axios wrote, because we can trust them so much, and I'm being sarcastic there for the people that get pissed at me for using sources that suck. I hear you. I try to talk around their points. Usually they got facts in here, all right? But yeah, we have literally a group that, I mean, Biden just keeps doing things that are illegal, and the courts keep stopping him. They're like, you can't do that, and he's like, all right, I'll do it again. And it's like, I'll do it again. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't even know if they're doing it differently in any way. So yeah, a lot of places that make money off the interest on the loans and all this stuff, like these states are going to be out quite a bit of money. $4.5 billion, the interest of that's significant to many cities and states and whatnot. The Biden administration slapped with a major lawsuit over alleged refusal to help state purge non-citizens from voter rolls. Once again, Florida trying to get some information from the Biden administration over what it claims a refusal, but they're trying to verify immigration status of a bunch of people in the Sunshine State. And, of course, DHS is not offering up the information. It is mandated to respond to an inquiry from the state or local government seeking to verify the immigration status of anyone in their jurisdiction for proposed purpose authorized by law. Because the federal government is refusing to comply with these obligations and frustrating Florida's ability to maintain the integrity of its elections, Florida files this suit. So now they're being sued by states because they're not allowing us to fix our rolls. Because, again, they want to cheat in Florida. They need to. They've got to turn these states because then they take everything over. Texas and Florida matter a bunch. A bunch. So y'all that ran there, you're in the same problem that you're facing. So you're fighting on the front lines right now when you accidentally thought you were probably leaving some sort of crazy other state. Now you're just on the front lines. So, yeah, time to fight. Time to fight for sure. More coming here, I think. Chris Cuomo is supposedly going to host a News Nation town hall with J.D. Vance. I don't know. That might be interesting. It's supposed to happen October 24th. Something to keep on your radar. A bunch of people are talking about this. All I'm going to say is, first thing I'm going to say is look up lip reading funnies or something like that, like on YouTube, like lip reading mistakes or something like that. You will see some of the funniest videos in the world where they show people's mouths moving, but the words they put in looks like that's what they're saying, but you know that's not what they're saying because it's so ridiculous. So some of those are hysterically funny. So I say that because I think lip reading is a funny thing. Like, I think people can be very good at it. Don't get me wrong. There's I think I'm even decent at it at times. But, yeah, it's like to feel like you've gotten the whole entire conversation. Maybe someone really skilled might be. This is New York Post's, their, I guess, lip reader deciphered a bunch of this conversation that they had. And, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can, where's it actually at? Was it up here? I don't know. Yeah, I think they tell us.
Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded.
Oh, this is the other one. No, yeah, but they were supposedly they broke it down and got the the different words she was saying. I thought I had that up, but essentially Joe says something to the effect of, but I'm stronger than her, or I'm better than her, and he basically says, yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, but and so the conversation's a little interesting. I apologize for not having more of it up, but yeah. Apparently, a lot of black guys are getting a little pissed off. Fox News is certainly doing its part to spread the conservative comfort for those of color, and I think doing a good job at it.
I have never been so offended in my life. She's bringing a man here who is Charlemagne, a false god, to a community that has 4,500 churches, all people of faith. We are extremely offended that she's bringing a podcaster here to talk to black men about politics. She brought a retired athlete to Flint who is failing, Magic Johnson, and she brought Oprah to Oakland County as if she understands the plight and the pain of people that look like me. We will not allow virtue signaling, or we will not allow identity politics. Black men are not political infants. We know exactly what's happening with the Democratic Party. We know that they've exploited us for over 6 decades. And we are saying, just like Moses said to Pharaoh, let my people go.
Damn straight. Let my people go. Right. Give it to him. Here's President Trump was on talking about how that Bloomberg interview where he was kind of had his arms all crossed. So we I think played that yesterday, the day before, and he was basically telling the dude he was wrong about a bunch of stuff. He wasn't expecting to have that interview. That was thrown upon him, snuck upon him. He did not see that coming, which is kind of interesting. Here's him talking about it.
I think the one thing they don't show, you were talking yesterday, I think it was the Bloomberg event, which, by the way, I loved. Yeah. I love the way you handled the whole terrorist conversation. That was a great event.
I got hoodwinked to go on that. You know, I was supposed to make a speech in front of the Chicago Economic Club, which is a big deal, you know, which is a very prestigious place, beautiful. Everything was beautiful. And all of a sudden, I understand I'm being interviewed by this gentleman, and he's got a reputation for being about, I'd love to see him do Kamala. He should do Kamala. That would be beautiful. But he's a tough cookie, and he's the chairman of Bloomberg. He's a big so all of a sudden I'm being interviewed, and I wasn't happy about it because I found out that he is, his reputation precedes him. And but I decided to do it. You have a choice: walk out and don't do it and have a scandal, or go in and do it and hopefully win, or you go in and do it and you get killed, which is probably the worst. But it was a great interview, actually. And he was nasty, but he wasn't overly nasty to me. I mean, other people thought he was. I thought nastier was David Muir when he kept interrupting me during the debate and saying false things. Like when I said crime is way up, and he said, no, crime is down. I said, you're wrong about that. Crime is up. And then 2 days later it came out that crime is up.
Right.
I mean, to me, that was much nastier than this gentleman. But it was really a study of business. It was a detailed study of business.
You're talking about with the Bloomberg one?
With the Bloomberg,
right.
And people loved it.
It is, again, interesting how a lot of information's just made up, and then anything Trump says, they say is a lie, but ultimately, most of it proves to be true. I mean, especially when you look at it in actual context. They love cutting his stuff up and demonstrating it incorrectly. Donald Trump's transition team, this is a very big deal. This is a very big deal that he's publicly doing this, because this should, once and for all, put an end to the Project 2025. And, by the way, I think it's a brilliant idea, and 2 or 3 or whatever, I think Project 2025 is like a mess, and it's a joke. And the people that are doing it without Trump's approval, and they know they are. And they know this is getting a lot of press. They're doing it maliciously. It's people that were malicious to Trump back in the day, and that's how they're trying to make it seem like we're like Harry Cassidy's, basically. So Trump is going out of his way now to say the future administration is going to have certain people banned from it, with special emphasis being placed on those with links to the Radical Project 2025 plan. Anybody with links to Project 2025 will not be allowed in Trump's administration. Period. He put an end to that. And others, we're quite sure. So that's kind of cool. An independent panel investigating the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at a Pennsylvania campaign rally faulted the Secret Service for poor communication that day and failing to secure the building where the gunman took his shots. Blah, blah, blah. It's ABC, by the way. So Point is, and really not that ABC's telling us anything that we don't already know or even care what they think. The point is, how far has it been since the shootings, or the almost shootings, even for that matter, and still nothing. Still nothing. This dude had he had multiple phones. He had these encrypted accounts, whatever. It's like Telegram and stuff like that, Signal. He had these encrypted accounts, though. He had them. We don't know anything, do we? Still. Don't know anything. It is what it is, I guess. This is what we're playing against, guys. I mean, we don't win every hand. We don't win every war or battle. There's definitely places that we're going in with exposure, with risks, with places we're going to need to pay close attention to, unquestionably, that we're going to have to try to deal with even after the effect. This is a rising moment, a rising movement. It's almost like rising waters, right? Like the tide's coming up. There's nothing you can do to stop it. So it's more an issue of, all right, let's just keep moving with it because things are changing. The Bronx, Trump was out there, went to a hair salon or whatever. Of course, it seems to be that not everybody's black, so I don't think it's like a black hair salon, but I don't know. It's got that immigrant vibe to it or whatever. I don't know. That sounds pretty bad, but whatever. Trump, he's going in the inner city, I guess. I don't know how else to say this. I don't know if the right way to say. I don't know if there is a right way for me to say that, but whatever the hell. Yeah, piss people off all the time.
Nice to see you all. Welcome. I've been to the barber's here. Excellent. Very good. I can see that good. Yeah. Nice soft flow. What's that all about? That's what I'm about. The back is just the best. Nice to see you all. Big hands, strong guy. Nice to see you. So you're the owner?
My son is the owner. Yeah, his father.
Oh, you did that very nice and easy, huh? Is he as good as you?
He's great. He's better.
Nice to see you all.
Pretty cool. I don't know. Trump's just a personable dude, right? And then the look on people's faces too, when they if I ever get to shake his hand, I feel like that's. I mean, I figure I'm going to at some point, but yeah, it'll be pretty magic moment. And I don't fanboy over much. Only celebrity that died that I ever actually teared up for, believe it or not, was actually Robin Williams, because I felt his pain kind of on that one. That was weird. And then Trump's the only famous person I've really ever wanted to meet. I want to meet him. Musk would be cool. There's people on that list I'd love to meet, but no, Trump's I would be pretty magical. That'd be pretty freaking cool. Fani Willis seeks to restore dismissed charges against Trump in 2020 election case. Yeah, now they're just trying to restore stuff that's already been dismissed. I don't know if they've refiled, whatever. We'll see. It's stupid. Again, and I don't even think they're going to move forward in that case until December or something, so it's going to be well after the election anyway. So, again, yeah, we've still got... This battle is far from done, folks. That's the thing that hit me the other day. I think part of why yesterday was a bit of a funk. But, it just dawned on me. I'm solid almost 8 years into this, almost every day doing stuff, and I realized it's going to be another 4 years. It really is. Not for them winning, just for all the stuff that we're going to have to fight against information war style to help wake up everybody else to the craziness that we're moving through as we transition. It is going to be interesting. And I was just like, is there a time where we get to, take a few days off, maybe a week? It'd be nice. I don't normally take a week off. It's always weird to me when I do that. I don't even know what. I think 5 days is the most I've ever taken off. It's crazy. Judge Chutkan tells prosecutors to give Trump lawyers info from Pence probe. And they're giving this guy. Yeah. I don't know. She told prosecutors Wednesday she's going to give Donald Trump, his lawyers, information from a separate probe about Mike Pence and his handling of classified documents. They think maybe there's a possibility that a deal might have been struck with Pence. And Chutkan's letting him do this, but, the possibility that a deal had been struck with Pence where, hey, testify against him and, we'll just maybe give you leniency on your document problem. But the problem really lies with that you've got a vice president who was also senator, had documents from those things kept in a non-secured facility, and You got Trump, who actually had him in a secured facility and was always willing to work with people. Like, just very, very different situations. And he got a very unique punishment and attack. And you got all these people around him that they're like, yeah, no, don't look what he's done wrong. But like, he said Trump's an asshole. So we, see, that proves it. It's like, but maybe he's covering his own ass. So that's what they're going to get some info on. I don't know. I don't. Here's any of the lawyery people out there, like my good friend that's Zeke, I throw to you, man, even if you know. But when they say, give us all your records, how? And they're like, all right, here's everything I have. It's like, and I'm supposed to believe you? You lie about everything. Where is the verification that it's true? Is there any auditing of that? Or is it just we're taking your word that you're giving us all of the documents? Because I have a real hard time. I have trust issues. We've said this before. This is part of it. All right, this is the thing, guys. I don't have this typed in yet, and I could probably do it on the fly, but that wouldn't be as much like the point, because I want to keep drslikesgold.com as a legitimate thing. I want you guys to remember, this is how you get out of jail. This is how you get out of their system. Jail. They're spending your money, by the way, your wealth. You've spent years putting this all together, and they're spending that on crazy whatever they want. And right now we know the stock market's overblown big time by many years, 4 to 5 years probably. We know inflation's out of control, which is taking a bite out of your dollar. We know they actually lowered interest rates, which is going to raise inflation more. And we now also realize that a lot of the statistics they've been feeding us have been vastly underrepresented. Even the new crime one that came out recently, where they had crime was down, is what the Biden-Harris, Kamala people were talking about. And the reality was it's actually up 4.5%. They were saying it was down 2-point-something%. They're lying. Stuff's eventually going to come off the rails. We don't know what's up, but this is not a good place to stay. Their system is not a good place to stay. You want to get out, transfer into something that's literally growing right now because their system's collapsing, and this precious metals always gets better when everything starts collapsing. Every time you look at all the spikes when it comes to gold prices and silver, specifically, because silver is actually a really cool indicator because it actually reacts to everything. Gold's very specific to like the big stuff, like the stock market crash back in the 40s or whatever, like 30s, whatever. Yeah, right? Like that big, when the hell was it? 20s? Roaring 20s, led into whatever the crash was, somewhere around there. I'm not a history guy. I hate dates. Back then, right? Gold spiked. We also had, I want to say, an issue around the gas thing in 73 or whatever when that happened. It's like all that there was a spike there. So just in a few very specific places, I want to say the stock crash 2008 might have had a little spike on it too, or silver for sure. Silver hits all of them. Anyway, it's very fascinating. What's cool is they've got this new thing where you can actually see how much free silver that you qualify for. Right? We've talked about you could get free silver if you switch over your 401k or IRA. Switch it over tax-free, penalty-free, by the way. But they've got a cool little calculator going on. It's called instantsilver.com/Dan Radio. That's my peeps, right? That's you guys. And I think it's something fun and something new. For like all you guys that have already done this, I would totally check it out and just put in the numbers you had back in the day, right? Whatever, right? I mean, find out how much silver you would have gotten. And who knows, maybe someone reaches out to you and you'd be like, well, I already did a deal with you guys. Like, I don't know. Just ask questions because they got great customer service, and frankly, they want customers. They love you guys. So, once again, that link, and I'll get it up on the screen at some point in the not too distant future. This is just, like I said, brand new, hot off the press. Instant Silver, instant with a T, instantsilver.com/Dan Radio. Dan Radio, right on the end of that. They didn't add the extra part, and it's not supposed to have it there, so just keep that in mind, right? So instantsilver.com/Dan Radio. Put in your numbers and see how much silver you would actually qualify for free silver. Silver's the one, there's a multiplier coming in, too. It's very cool stuff. All said. Yeah. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com gets you to this portal, but certainly check out the instantsilver.com/Dan Radio and come at it from that angle and see what happens. It's kind of fun. I'm curious to kind of hear and see. I don't know if I have any reporting on that, frankly. So that'll be a fun little conversation to have down the road. Pentagon wants to use AI to create deep fake internet users. What this article tells me, that came out literally today from The Intercept, because it's obviously not intercepting stuff, but if this story tells me, just for all you guys, here's how you read this, because it's not true exactly. Pentagon has already created deep fake internet users. There you go. Like a while ago, a long time ago. You know, when we first started hearing about AI, the military had already gotten like pretty far along, and they were trying to like, all right, let's give them a seed and let them start. Let's give them a little bit of open AI. Let's give somebody a way to start this process off and see where they go and get to. And then we'll watch it because maybe they come up with something different. But they already had a very fantastic system, the military, or there's probably all sorts of versions of this, people different doing it. But I think we are on our side in the West, the United States specifically, because of money, are way further along than most everybody else on this planet, hands down, because of the money. Because we've always been an extraordinarily rich country, and it's huge. And our military-industrial complex has been just raping us for years, but they've built some crazy cool shit. So I just hope we find out about it, that the disclosure is going to be very interesting. The EU bureaucrats are considering targeting Elon Musk's entire empire over X's free speech. Again, this is go after anybody that's fighting the system. Where it's very fun to see who, and again, it's easy for someone like me to say, again, I know like Clay Clark very well, and I know some of the legal woes he's going through, and he's kind of bigger in the like out there kind of way. I've sort of, there's sometimes it's nice being smaller. There's there's blessings and things. Sometimes God gives you exactly what you need right now, not necessarily what you want right now. And this is something to always keep in mind. But you've got people like Musk, Trump, Flynn, obviously Clay, and many, many others that are totally in harm's way and are being attacked everywhere because they're going against the deep state. This is not an easy path we're on, guys. It's necessary. And like, if you guys are anything like me, you can't sleep if you don't do this, right? Like, it just nags you. It's like, I know I have to do this. This is my calling. I have to. That's where I was just like, this is going to be a while, isn't it? Oh, okay. Sometimes you just got to prepare. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to suck it up. You thought it was only it's like a Disneyland line. I don't know if you've ever been to Disneyland, but their lines are strategically freaking crazy to actually cause you to want to go nuts. Because you'll walk around a corner after you got done going through all the stuff, right? All the lines, right? And then you come around a corner and you're like, we're going to get inside the building. And then you find a whole nother set of lines. You're like, oh, it'll drive you insane. The masters of the line. Israel says Hamas leader Sinwar was actually killed by the IDF. This is a big deal. And two, by the way, I was asking the other day, was fighting still happening in Gaza? And I don't think bombings are, but this dude was shot there. So I don't know if the IDF went inside to a building and he was there smoking a cigarette and they're like, "Papa," right? I don't know. I don't know how it played out, but this dude died. And he was the Hamas leader. That's significant. The leadership of the deep state is being heavily crippled in this area. Now, am I 100% pro-Israel doing whatever they want? No, but I kind of think right now they're literally going after the deep state. I'm not hearing, and I come across enough stuff that would be pointing it out because it politically plays well for them, but I'm not seeing a lot of stuff that looks anything outside of that too much, right? I think there's some people that are just very adamant about you can't kill anybody outside of it, that Israel's overstepping its bounds, that Israel doesn't belong there. I get it. There's a huge complexity to the history of Israel. I'm not ever going to sit there and try to fall on that grenade. That is not my problem to own. First off, not Jewish. So I've got love. I've got some Jewish friends. I've got the gentleman I bought this home from is Jewish. I have huge love for that man. He's a very, very brilliant man and wonderful man. And nothing but good things to say. So no, love the culture. Some of my closest friends are Jewish. It's a weird place we're in right now as a global society is all I keep trying to get us to pay attention to. Because we can't stop killing each other. We need to figure that out. That's a really big deal. We got to figure out how to stop killing each other because we're all, quote, God's children. However you read that, whatever way you come at that from, whatever religion you're in, technically all God's children is what they say. Except that guy. Wow. Zelensky says his country needs one of two things right now to, deal with or to move forward. We either need, because I guess they went nuclear free back in the 90s, 94, I guess, yes. United States and United Kingdom, they did this Budapest memorandum, and they made made them give up their nuclear weapons. It's like, give up your nuclear weapons. And they're like, okay, haha. And then that's probably when they started getting all the crazy free money and stuff, and they were loving it. They were fat and rich. But it seems that's kind of ending. And so they're like, well, we want our nuclear weapons back. This didn't work well for us because now we're getting bullied by Russia. If we had nuclear weapons, we could tell Russia to F off, we'll use nukes. And Russia's like, yeah, that's a good reason not to fuck with you, right? Like, so they don't have them. So they're like, we either want nukes, give us some nukes, which is insane. There's no way we would do that. Or two, yeah, what was the other thing? Give us nukes, or get us in NATO, so then you guys can nuke them, right? That's what Zelensky's saying right now. Give us nukes so we can nuke them, or bring us into NATO so y'all can nuke them. Just nuke them. That's all. That's all we're saying. Thanks, Zelensky. That's a big help. That's going to make everything better. U.S. getting involved in a weird way in Yemen. I don't know what's up with this, but we literally sent our B-2 stealth bombers to do it. Now, many advantages to using these things. First off, they carry a shit ton of stuff. The stealth is kind of groovy, but I don't think our stealth is maybe as awesome as it is, but it certainly reduces our radar signature greatly. All said, it carries a crap ton of stuff, and it carries probably some very unique weapons, because this right here that they were doing were precision strikes against several of the Houthis' underground facilities housing various weapon components of types that the Houthis have used to target civilians and military vessels throughout the region. Literally, we used our bunker busters, which, to my understanding, they're basically like pretty good-sized bombs, but on the front of them, they've got almost like as part of the howitzer's cannon. It was just such a strong piece of metal. One of them, they had that as the tip, so it's got that, and it just burrows through whatever the hell, just kinetic energy. Dropped from a high altitude especially, I bet it's just hauling ass by the time it hits. So this is very, very cool. And it signifies we took out some very, very heavy stuff. Again, this demonstrates good guy action, I think. So I think we are literally removing the deep state from the world. And it seems that, I mean, you got to wonder when Taiwan comes into play, because that's not happened yet. I don't know. We've seen China do some crazy stuff lately, so hard to say. Yeah, here's Zelensky asking for NATO or weapons. Yeah, no chance, no. No way, buddy. No way. You're just not trustworthy anyway. So freedom of religion in the United Kingdom. I have a buddy, and they're like, we basically got the same rights that you guys have, right? My British friend. Not sure if he's angry with me ever, but I don't think he is. He seems to always be jovial, happy, in a dry sort of way. All said, this dude was in front of a place where you could get abortions. And he had a prayer silently. And then the cops walk up to him and ask, hey, what were you thinking about there? What were you praying about? And he brought up how his child died or something. And he's like, yeah, so here's the thing. You're not allowed to do that in front of an abortion clinic, or at least this close. So he got busted for a thought crime. First off, the fact that somebody can literally in England, I guess, walk up to you and be like, what are you thinking right now? And I have to, tell you? Oh, dude, if I had to tell you some of the thoughts I've had, oh my God. So many, I don't know if any of my relationships would make it, frankly. Second off, there's so many women that would be pissed at me. Yeah, if I had to explain all my thoughts, no. When I die and get judged, it's going to be an experience, let me just tell you. I think we'll see. My point is, really? Thought crimes? What are you thinking right now? I haven't just a thought with myself. Wait, no, it's not your business. Get out of here. It's inside my head. Did you hear it? Could you hear it? No? Somehow, are you telepathic? Did you pick up on it? Fuck you, man. No, it's none of your business what I was thinking. How does that work? And I'm sure if you fought them, you'd be like, I'm not going to tell you what I'm thinking. They'll be like, well, we're going to take you in. You're going to take me in for what? Not telling us what you're thinking. What if I was thinking something that's not even a crime? It's just none of your damn business what I'm thinking. Doesn't matter. You didn't tell us what you're... how does that work? This is England. You would think they're not that crazy. This dude's he got fined a bunch, I think. Yeah, court ordered him to pay £9,000. Whatever. This is stupid. He's praying for his son. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Just rub it off, man. Get rid of it. Eric Council Jr., 25, of Athens, Alabama. He was arrested this morning in Athens in connection with the January 2024 unauthorized takeover of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission X account, formerly known as Twitter. And that was when they posted the message saying that the Bitcoin was going to be accepted, I guess, by the SEC or something like that. And that caused a spike of $1,000 in Bitcoin. It's really part of what started Bitcoin into its true what Bitcoin is. Right, wrong, and different. It might actually put Bitcoin on the map, really, officially, but it was very illegal what he did, and it actually affected the markets, which is also super illegal. All said, dude got caught, and he's probably in pretty big trouble. And the big question, nothing they can do about the damage that's been caused, but probably want to make an example of him. You know how that works. So, rare copy of the U.S. Constitution is up for auction, apparently. It's expected to sell for millions of dollars. But yeah, rare copy, printed 237 years ago, sent to the states to be ratified. It's being auctioned in North Carolina, of all places. I wonder if the proceeds are going to something groovy, but that's pretty crazy, right? Looks like they actually printed it, too. The printing's a trip on some of these letters. I wonder if they had... That's weird. Justice is really like a mixture of IT. I wonder if there were certain letters they couldn't do very well, it looks like. Established, like S's they had a hard time with. That's weird. Anyway, that's crazy. I feel like some of the original printing. Why do we care about this? Bill Clinton claims Ethel Kennedy, would flirt with him when they were hanging out. He was talking about this at the funeral. He's like, gets up there and he's like, the dead chick? Yeah. I've seen her naked. Yeah, pretty good. I was banging her. Basically, I mean, if Clinton's talking about how she was flirting with him, there's no damn way Clinton didn't knock some booty back when she was younger and he was younger. Because he's a dirty ass bird, right? He was Epstein how many times? Flew on the Lolita Express, too. Thank God he didn't take government airplanes. That would have been so much worse. So, okay, Bill Clinton, you're a scary man. I don't know. I'm probably not going to try to spend too much time on this, though I've got 5 slides dedicated to this kid I don't even know. I've heard of the band, One Direction. I think they were created by Simon Cowell in the UK. And long story short, these guys were, I think, very heavily molested. I'm just going to spit out the important parts, start to finish. Like, they just got abused everywhere they possibly could, and it effed them up. So this dude, One Direction, has killed himself. Well, it looks like. He apparently took a lot of drugs, jumped out of a window in a place out in, where was he? Out in, like the Bahamas or something like that. And jumped out and squish. Didn't do so well. Didn't survive it. Yeah, he's 31, apparently. According to police, he died after falling from a 3rd-floor hotel room in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Like, sort of not even close to where I was saying, but yeah. So I knew it was someplace not here. Whatever. Buenos Aires, Argentina. A couple of days ago, it was reported that Liam Payne's ex, Maya Henry, has called in lawyers as she begins legal actions against Liam Payne after accusing the One Direction star of obsessive contact and weaponizing his fans against her. Satanic pedophile Simon Cowell was a big fan of Marina Abramovic's, or however you say, Abramovic's spirit cooking events. Cowell created One Direction on the X Factor UK in 2010. So many are saying suicide, murder, don't know, but they did get some images of his room, and there was some nasty stuff. So he was apparently cycling through a pretty tough time. There's word that the girlfriend that was out there with him, she left early. A lot of people were like, nah, he's with his girlfriend. Well, come to find out she actually left early, so it almost seems like something wasn't going well. So he might have been a little bummed. And then we've got, here it is. The picture, supposedly he trashed the place, drugs, drug paraphernalia, all over the place. Dude just trashed his place. And so he was definitely high and drunk, probably, and on pills and all sorts of stuff. And could have fallen, could have thought he was flying, could have had someone come in the room and say, hey, let's go outside and get you some fresh air, and then force them over. Like, yeah, any of that stuff, very possible. Very possible. But yeah, he was probably wasted. I think that's a safe assessment. Liam Payne experience he had with Diddy. He talks about it on a show. I don't need to play it, but yeah, he apparently went to some of Diddy's parties and was part of that whole thing. And yeah, so let's see. I guess we can play this.
I had that with P. Diddy. I went over to say hello to P. Diddy, and Jay-Z was there, and Leonardo DiCaprio was sat.
I think you've dropped enough names.
To go over there and say hello to him, so I thought P. Diddy. So I went out to shake his hand, and I shook his hand, and I was like, oh, nice to meet you, and he's just going, with the longest handshake ever. And I like sat there just looking in P. Diddy's eyes like, when is this going to end? Very awkward moment.
That is...
Yeah, so this guy ends up dying. Maybe he was one of the people that was going to testify against, or, right, one of the people accusing. And maybe he just happened to be in a place that wasn't very secure because Diddy's got friends in all sorts of places, I would wonder. And maybe there's a lot of specific loose ends that are worth keeping quiet. So there's a strong chance there's a bad odor around this entire death. I guess that's why I spent the time I did. The deep state's freaking out. They're very worried about this sweater coming unraveled from the many threads that we have to pull. It's hard. And they're still shutting stuff down, but not like they once could. We've got dozens and dozens of people coming out against these guys. We're making huge strides. We just still got a ways to go. I hope you guys will go with me. I plan on going there. I'd love to have you come along, shoulder to shoulder. We're going to get through this. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.